What's going on, everyone? I come with some news that I feel is devastating. I know that you guys have seen the title to this, and that's why you're watching it. Unfortunately, at this point in time, I do not have body cam video. All I have are news feeds, as Gwinnett County has removed the press release from their website, which is normally where it's at. I've went all the way through, all the way back to February of this year, seeing if maybe it just got mixed up in there. No, it's not on there. Um, and it is with deep regret that I have to say that many of you that's been on my channel has seen that I gave a commendation for the Gwinnett County Police. I looked highly upon them and how they handle situations, but this one right here is sad. Um, on August 22nd, yeah, August the 22nd, at about 4:26, 4:30 p.m., Gwinnett County Police did in fact respond to a phone call, and as you see here, I've got several different headlines that was put out, and we're going to go through the headlines and what they had to say for the most part once we get done. I mean, the beginning of them all is pretty much on point, but they do start changing, and that's something that I want to point out to you guys as well, is how the news headlines get flipped to make it seem like the officers were justified, even though they weren't. Um, in my eyes, this is not a justifiable incident. The unaliving of a 17-year-old going through a mental health crisis is something that should never happen, and I'm tired of men, women, and kids that aren't carrying a firearm being unalived by a firearm. Um, just so you know, this is gonna be parental guidance if you want your kids to watch this. If not, I highly recommend you have them leave the room, as I found this very disturbing, and the news feed actually popped up on my phone yesterday afternoon, and I couldn't bring myself to do the story on it just yet. Uh, Sorry, guys. It's hard for me, man. I just think, what if it was one of my kids going through this? And this is why I started doing what I do. As of right now, everything that they have, body cam footage, police reports, everything has been sent to the GBI for further investigation, which I'm really hoping that they find that there was another way that they could have done this. I'm really hoping that those two cops are held accountable, because I am pushing for it. They need to be held accountable for this. Right now, we're going to start out with local news for me, Channel 2. I think it's WSB TV, yeah. 17-year-old dies after charging at Gwinnett County officers with knife, police say. Gwinnett County, Georgia. Gwinnett County Police shot and killed an armed teenager after they say he charged at them with a knife. Let me make this a little bigger for you, for those at home. Why is it not doing it? No. Okay. Control? Yeah, there we go. Sorry. Maybe this is better. The shooting happened near the intersection of West Broad Street and Whitehead Road in downtown Sugar Hill on Friday. It wasn't Friday though. Everything says Thursday. Sorry guys, let me mute this real quick. I don't mean to interrupt. Some say Friday, some say Thursday. And then on Saturday, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation identified the teen as 17-year-old Braden Hemphill. I don't know much about this kid. I haven't been to the area yet. I do plan to go. probably some point this weekend, um, if I can. It's, yeah, just mind blowing. Police say just after 4 p.m. they received a phone call from Himful, who told the police he was armed with a knife and a gun near the roundabout of Whitehead Road. The teen also reportedly told police he was a danger to himself and others. Officers responded to the scene along with the Gwinnett County Behavioral Health Unit. Police say the clinician spoke with a distressed teen over the phone who told the clinician that he was suicidal and suffering from depression. When police arrived, they gave the teen commands to drop the knife that he was holding. Negotiations with Himful continued for several minutes when police say he began charging at two officers in a sprint. As he swung the knife, both officers fired their weapons, hitting the teen at least once. Medical units were called immediately. However, Himful died on the scene from his injuries. Sorry, forgive me. The investigation is being handled by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. Their investigators were notified immediately per Gwinnett County state policy. So that's one spin on it, which makes it seem like, he makes it seem like it should be justified, and I still feel like it's not, and I'll explain why once I go through all these. And if you agree, let me know in the comments. If you disagree, let me know in the comments as well. I'm not shutting anybody down. You have a right to agree and disagree, just as I have a right to my opinion. And hey, if your opinion is different, state it, and maybe we can have a discourse in the comments. This one right here is from Channel 11 Alive. I forget what theirs are. Oh, CBS. So, teen called 911 saying he was a danger to himself and others before he was shot, killed by officers, Gwinnett police. The teen died at the scene from his injuries, according to officers. And then again, a 17-year-old boy accused of wielding a knife was shot and killed by the Gwinnett County Police on Friday evening. Maybe it was Friday, but I swear I read one that said it was Thursday. After police said he initially called 911 on himself. Gwinnett County Police Sergeant Colin Flynn said just before 4:30 p.m., Gwinnett Police received a 911 call from the teen who told emergency operators he was armed with a knife and a handgun, and that he was a danger to himself and others. This is the more detailed one, which I like. There's this one and Channel 5. They're both really good detailed. However, the stories flip down here. So, they arrived with the mental health unit. They was on the phone with the clinician. The department was able to connect the teen over the phone and began to try to help him. Police said the 17-year-old, later identified as Braden Himful, told the clinician he was depressed and experienced thoughts of suicide. When Gwinnett police officers arrived, they said they found the teen standing in the middle of the road in a cul-de-sac holding a knife. As officers were talking with him, which we know cops, they was not talking at all. They was being loud and probably scared the kid that was already going through shit and not making his situation any better. They told him to drop the knife. Sergeant Flynn said the teen charged at officers and tried to swing at them with the knife he was holding. That's when Sergeant Flynn said two officers fired at the 17-year-old and he was shot at least once. Officers immediately called first responders, but police said the teen was pronounced dead at the scene. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation has been requested to investigate. The identity of the 17-year-old is being withheld until next of kin can be notified. It's not being withheld though. Everybody states it, his name. So that's not withheld unless they're talking about the photo. Oh, oops. So sorry. So we're gonna come over here to this one. The AJC. Armed teen killed after charging Gwinnett officers identified, GBI says. Oh, gotta increase this one too. Police shot and killed an armed teenager Friday evening after he charged at officers near downtown Sugar Hill, authorities said. The suspect, identified as 17-year-old Braden Hemful, called 911 and reported that he was armed with a gun and a knife. If you guys want to read that, you can. So we're going to come down to here. The suspect was found holding a knife in the road at the roundabout between Whitehead Road and West Broad Street in Sugar Hill, the GBI stated. The clinician and officers on the scene negotiated with the suspect for several minutes, according to Flynn. Officers told the teen to drop the knife, but he instead advanced toward police while allegedly yielding the weapon toward them. The GBI added. Hemful continued to refuse commands and was shot by officers, the state agency confirmed. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Flynn said the shooting took place near downtown Sugar Hill, just southwest of Beaufort. The suburban downtown area is home to a theater and several restaurants and bars. Roads in the area have been shut down since the shooting and will remain closed as the investigation continues, Flynn said. The GBI will lead an independent investigation into the officer-involved shooting. So see this one right here, instead of they have taken up, now they're saying they will lead. So if the investigation's ongoing, then sorry, I'm taking my shoes off. So if the investigation has already been started, then what does the GBI will lead an independent? How about the GBI has started an independent investigation into the officer-involved shooting? This one right here was the one that I read. Armed teen shot, killed by officers in Sugar Hill during mental health crisis. This sounds more like an appropriate title for this. It stresses this part right here, the mental health crisis. Again, let me make this one big. A 17-year-old, armed with a knife and handgun, which is where they started, was shot and killed by Gwinnett County police officers late Thursday afternoon after he charged them during a standoff, authorities said. So we move on through, and if you guys want to pause the video and read this yourself, you can. Officers encountered the teenager along the roadway at the roundabout. They parked their vehicles a short distance away and issued commands for the teen to drop the knife he was holding. Now this sounds more like cops issuing commands instead of making requests and trying to be reasonable with the teen or with anyone that they come in contact with, because they automatically perceive an authority over us, and that's a perception that we have to destroy. Despite the several minutes of the negotiation by both officers and the clinician, the situation escalated. You don't say. If I had people commanding me and I already didn't care whether I lived or died, what's the harm, right? They more than likely they've already got their guns drawn on the kid. So what's the harm? I mean, he was already having those thoughts. Police say the teen suddenly sprinted at the two officers with the knife in hand. The officers fired their weapons as the teen approached and swung the knife at them. He was struck at least once by gunfire. As officers were speaking with the male, he began charging at them in a full sprint. As he approached the officers, he stabbed the knife towards one of the officers, and the two officers, the male, I'm not even going to cover it up, man. They opened fire on the male, striking him at least one time, said Sergeant Flynn. The teen was pronounced dead at the scene. Police say they do not know if the teen actually had a gun. Investigators only found a knife. Now, that's something I have to break down, okay? If they do not know if he had a gun, why? Why would they use their pistols? It just doesn't make sense to me. Yes, the kid had a lethal weapon, but you didn't need to use a lethal firearm to take him down. You could have hit him with a stun gun, hit him with a taser. Yeah, he probably would have went down on the knife, but there was a great chance that he could have survived that, gotten medical treatment, and you know, got treated medically for his injuries, and then gotten him some help. That's the thing. These cops, guys, these cops are so eager and gung ho to pull the gun. That's the first thing they go to. That's why they in their training they are taught to carry the gun where their dominant hand is. So right-handed pistol goes right side, left-handed taser goes, or left-handed dominant pistol on left. What I'm proposing for any law enforcement agency and the government as a whole to incorporate some type of law to make them wear their pistol on the opposite side. Is there a chance that they could get injured? Yes, there is. They're, they presume that risk when they take on the job. It's part of their job. They presume that risk. Their lives are no more important than ours. If there is a way, they need to be made time to think before they reach for that weapon. Otherwise, instinctively, they need to go for the taser. I understand the taser puts them at a disadvantage if there's distance and the person is presumed to be armed and dangerous. The kid was armed. Yes, he was dangerous, but it was all mental health issues. For an officer to not think this through and not think about what's best for someone going through a mental health crisis, and for the mental health crisis person to not get involved and try to get them to switch or tell them to stand down because they could have been, and this is all speculation, they could have been agitating him, you know. I'm not exactly sure, I wasn't there, and like I said, body cam and things like that can't be released yet. They're tied up behind red tape until the investigation is completed, and I promise you guys, as soon as this investigation is completed, I'm going to get the body cam footage and we're going to see what really happened. I will put that out there for you guys. Wow. So with that being said, drop your thoughts and opinions down in the comments, and whatever you guys do not call the Gwinnett County Police Headquarters harassing them. Do not call them and address your grievances. This is Gwinnett County, Georgia. Oh, hey. What the heck is going on with my keyboard? It's unresponsive. My keyboard said no. Keyboard's being stupid. Let me see. So guys, these are the people that I don't want you to call and harass. And just to show you, there's nothing here. This is the most recent one that they put up, as you can tell, because that's August 20th, August 16th. So they did in fact take down the news release. Whatever you do not call them and address your concerns. Do not click this contact us. Do not find out where the Gwinnett County Police Department phone number is. I can't stress that enough. Pretty sure the officers are, you know, kicking back with some paid vacation time. You know, again, this was a hard story for me to have to cover and make it wide, because If we don't bring attention to this, who will? This again is something that we always see happening, and this is what our movement is about: to recognize our rights and to treat us with respect and dignity, and to recognize that we are people too. Um, it's also to try to stop this, man. There's too many people being killed by, as delete law says, thugs with guns. Actually, many of us call them that because I mean it's really what they are. But I promise you guys, once the body cam's made available, I'll get that out to you. All right. Until then, you know, if you're a Christian, keep the family uh, of Braden Hemphill in your prayers. Keep the friends of him in your prayers. If you're not a Christian, keep them in your thoughts and listen, good vibes their way, and wish them all. I can't even say it, man, because I would be destroyed. Let's just send our condolences. Alright, guys. Peace.